Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on September 20th, 2023 at approximately 4:21 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies I personally guide my own life by. Now, these tools and philosophies have literally helped thousands of people over the years to attain their own levels of success, depending entirely upon their own efforts. Many of the tools I talk about I have put into written form. Okay, and one of the first books I dealt with. Okay, these 3 books are 3 in a series. It will eventually be 12. But the one that handles the backbone of how I changed my life from being an extreme introvert to what I am today. The secret is contained in here. Believe in yourself and follow your dreams. Now, every one of the books I work with, I've actually got 8 in print right now. Every one of them can be ordered directly through me. And we are going to show you exactly how to take the first steps to attaining your dreams in just a few moments here. But first and foremost, when we talk about ordering things, this is the email address that not only will get you directly in contact with me. Let's see. And of course, it's not going to work the way I desire it to. So we go paste. Okay, innervoiceenterprises@yahoo.ca is the email address used to get directly to me. It's also the same one used to get to PayPal. Okay. Now, this neat little website here, has 7 out of the 8 books listed on it. Okay, some of them you can order right there. Well, in all fairness, use the email address to get directly to me. Okay, but this will give you a breakdown of what they are. It will tell you what the books are, and quite frankly, where to get them right here. Now, I mentioned making your dreams a reality. Where do you begin? How do you go about doing it? Now, understand, I have repeated myself on this a number of times, but I also know that we are getting more and more people in. And the people that haven't come down this road, the first conclusion you've got to come to, is these 4 words. Now, in any language I've come across, these 4 words are the 4 most powerful words handled in conjunction with each other to really boost self-esteem, self-worth, self-motivation. You get the idea. Okay. Now, this sign's a little big. Okay. But I strongly recommend you do like I did. I keep this sign handy for me, but also put it on your fridge. Okay, in my case, not only did I put it on my fridge, I also put it on my front door. Okay, so with this in mind, you desire your life to change. The first thing you got to do is decide that you're ready to make it happen using your efforts. Now, before I go any further, we have Derek Galloway in here with the gold. Eternal is in with the silver. Kevin Whippoff is in with the bronze. And Adam Lakatos comes in with honorable mention. This said, we also have Shadow and Son. And Shadow and Son is the owner of this particular live stream. So absolutely drop in, give him a listen. Give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, do subscribe to the channel. Give him a thumbs up subscribe to the channel, and then share the daylights out of it. Okay, this is the way we turn this world around. Now, we do have a choice. We can sit down and sit back and go, no, world's going to end, we're all going to die, and we're all going to suffer through massive shortages. Crystal, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I think, personally, that's one of those things there, Adam, that I really do feel is well worth doing. I like tattoo art. I personally won't get it done to me. I don't know if it's pain threshold thing or what the story is. I don't know much about it. I do know that I don't have any tattoos, but I certainly don't have, any objection to it. The way I look at it is this: if you like that kind of artwork, I always recommend one thing. If you're getting any sort of words on you, okay, the only names you ever put on in a tattoo are people you're bloodline related to. Because no matter what happens, you're going to remain bloodline related. Okay, I strongly recommend against putting your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife name. Bad idea in my eyes. But do what you will. Okay, you're more than welcome there, Shadow. By the way, and I don't have it here right now, the gold reptilian that I showed you, okay, it's actually a Sarkon. I have got an extra one on order to actually paint it a different color now. Yeah, and your daughter's name, clearly, no matter how things go in your life, she's always going to be your bloodline daughter. Joe, how you doing? I trust your day's been going well. Now, I mentioned the other day that yesterday, I think maybe the day before, that the government turned around and turned me down on they went and said, nope, we're not helping you because it's not viable. Well, here's the reality behind viability. Okay. I didn't get to it today because I got tied up with a whole pile of other things. But I now have to get hold of a notary public in order to get the paperwork in place, ISBN, and copyright. And these will have to wait until tomorrow now, because they're all closed. Football Cat, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I trust your day has been going well. Now, you desire your world to change. Okay, kind of an important thing. Now, let's see, what do I got here? Whole pile of written work that I just don't require. Like, it's got to be combined. I got too many of these things going on. So, take this and get these files out of the way. Because what's happened here is I got so many on the go that, like, these are all of this is written work on the Yldrbac Chronicles. Problem is that I ended up with 2 sets of files for them. So now what I got to do here is to make this all a reality. I have to actually combine them all. Okay, and like I said, you desire your life to change. The first thing you have to do is decide this aspect. I am worth it. Once you've got that clear in your head, things will start moving nicely for you. Of course, it does require your own effort. Hey, that was not right. So we're going to set about combining these files. And then, as I get that done, I will actually be able to start putting things together in the right order. Yes, I realize I'm walking around. Neat part there is I'm walking around because I decided waiting isn't working. I put the whole production level on hold because the government told me to sit back and wait while they decided if they were going to help me. Well, they decided they're not. Needless to say, now it's a question for you. Take a look at the project you've got and ask yourself this. Are you content with where your life right now is sitting? If the answer is yes, then absolutely stay put. But if the answer is no, then it's time to make something happen. Now you'll notice I've just gone through half a dozen file folders in a matter of seconds. Well, in a matter of minutes. But like I said, this boils down to combining file folders to make sure that everything is running right. Now here's the neat little thing. Take a look at where you're standing. Wherever you are, whatever desk you're in front of. Okay. Take a sheet of paper, or if you're working with a computer, open up a Word file. Okay. Or even a note file for that matter. And literally list off the first thing that comes to your heart that you feel is out of place. I would love to know why I'm out of breath right now. Actually, I think I'll check that just in half a second. But, needless to say, I don't slow down for much. This is just eliminating a lot of a pain in the neck. Okay. By the way, where I'm throwing all these are into a box for recycling. And that is just how quick we get started. Now, grab this. Get it out of the way. Good Lord. Hopefully this does not bode well, but let's take a peek just on principle. Welcome to live video. Now, what do we got here? Angels of Life, how are you doing? Glad you could join us. And let's take a look here. Over here, we have, this is Nikki's one. Whoops. This is Nikki's live stream. So absolutely drop in, give her a listen. If you like what she says, give her a thumbs up, and then subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of it. Quite frankly, you'll find she's got some really neat takes on life. And my breath is going all over half acre, which is not fun. Not from my end, anyway. So, yes, I've shown you guys this before, and I'm not, I look at it going this way. I know what my life works like. So I just figure, if I drop dead, well, at least you'll know why. Yeah, it's probably a bad way to look at it, but what the heck. No, that's not going to work. So you can pump that into place and make sure that we're not going to have to die on us. Might be an idea. But you desire your life to change. You're the one that's going to have to do the work for it. Okay. Well, that shouldn't be bad. Who knows? How about if we don't go any higher? What do you think? Just waiting for it to finish reading so I can actually know where it's standing. I'd show you the readout, but I'm just going to tell you what it is and be done with it. Yeah, a little high, but then I was just walking around. Nice. 157 over 89. A little on the high side. Pulse at 102. Well, that would explain my being out of breath, wouldn't it? So, probably an idea to slow things down just a fraction. But at least we know I'm not going to drop dead. Not yet, anyway. Adam, what do we got here? Adam's just added, after we talked last night, I saw the information, I saw that formation again. I was able to snap some pictures immediately after I did. Thick, heavy clouds rolled in. Here's the funny thing. Those clouds, you can bet your bottom dollar. There is, and they've got technology, and I'm working on putting that together, the description of it, that is. There is a way of ionizing the clouds to make them form to block the images. Okay, so if they realized you were doing something, it is quite possible they went, no, let's not have that happen. I will still stand by this, Adam. It does not feel like you're in any danger at all. Aside from having your whole outlook on life shifted a little. Although I don't think that's possible. Something just went ding. What was it? There we go. They just showed up here, Adam. Yeah, I'm looking at the star fields here, Adam, and maybe it's just an issue of the quality of the image, or more likely my eyeballs. Because personally, I can't track them down. But like I said, I've never been one to really look at it and go, okay, I can tell you veracity or not. I know there's no question coming from you. They're real. See if that works. Oh, there we are. I think I can see what we're looking at. I'm pretty certain of it anyway. But yeah, it's rather fascinating, isn't it there, Derek? Or Adam, my apologies. But no, you desire your life to change. It's imperative you put your foot down and say it's going to happen. Nathan, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I trust work is going well. And guys, this here is the link to Nathan's show. So we copy that here. Paste it in the bottom here. Hit enter and tell you, take it and drop it and give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, give him a thumbs up and do subscribe to the channel and then share the daylights out of the thing. Now, I know this Saturday, if everything goes well, I'm planning on at least being in the chat room this weekend there, Nathan. It just depends on how the day goes, how my energy levels hold up. Because that's been a little bit of a fun thing. Well, the way I look at it, guys, I figure when people come in here and choose to share their time with me, and with us in this room, the best way for me to say thank you, well, the best way is to say thank you. But the reciprocal way is to share the links to your room and to your shows. Because honestly, I don't tend to have the time to do so, to drop in on all of them. Elaine, how you doing? Glad you could join us. So I did go down to my printer today to make sure that we've got everything moving in the right direction. And like I told her, thank you so much, Nathan. I really do appreciate it. Like my printer said, okay, we're ready to go to make this happen. I just have to get a couple of things in order. Ouch, that hurt a lot. So I've already laid the template out. Now, I've already laid out the template to start putting together a poetic anthology. Now, I've been called a gentleman contractor. And what that means is without the paperwork in line, if I say, this is what I'm going to do, one way or the other, I'm going to make it happen. This is why when I worked it out, I'm sticking with the idea, a very simple idea. If you've got a poem that you would like put into print, all I require from you until I get the paperwork in place, it will still hold. Okay. But all I require from your guys' standpoint is $20, the original work, with a letter stating it is your original work and that I have the right to reproduce it in whole or in part as is. You, on the other hand, will have absolute free reign to do what you will. Okay. Plus, of course, I will make sure you get the first copy. Well, one free copy for every poem that you put in. One free copy will end up in your hand. Okay. Now, and I got to double check. I should check that today. I was down at the printer. If I remember correctly, the anthology will, this is just a ballpark because I got to go double check. If we've got, I'm going to need 1, 2, going to lose 3 pages out of 40. We will probably have, I'm guessing, 30, 35 poems in the book. Now, I may have more. It depends on what size poems I'm looking at. Okay. But again, I'm only dealing with originals. Like, for instance, this one I will not be putting in. I put this one. It was one that I have no idea where I heard it, who wrote it. Okay, I did put it in my October newsletter that's coming out. I'll be shipping a bunch of emails out tonight. Okay, with the October newsletter. But there's a poem in it that goes, and I did not write this, and this is why it says underneath the poem, it says author unknown, because I got no idea who the author is. Okay. But the poem goes, Willy Willy, full of gore, nailed his sister to the door. Said his mother, feeling faint, Willie, dear, don't scratch the paint. Now, I have no idea who wrote that, which is why in the newsletter it tells you it's author unknown. Going into the anthology, every poem that goes in will be, here's the name of the author. Okay. And that is because I'm looking at original works from as many people as decide to participate. Okay. Now I've got that going. I've got I've got a number of different projects on the go. But let me ask you this, and we're going to pick on you, Nathan, for just a sec, because I know you're working on a physical rendition of essentially, and I keep forgetting what the thing is and what the thing is called, but you're working on essentially an anti-gravity machine. Okay, a flyer. Something along the lines of the Star Wars speeder bikes. Okay. I'm really curious. I think I'll leave that said. I got some questions for you that I'm going to leave alone until we get to the Saturday show. And I'm going to see what I can do as long as I can get there, which there's no functional reason yet that I won't be able to. Okay, but it's one of these neat little things that I look at going, we've got to start making it work. We've got to start working on these little projects. So what is this sheet here? Gotta get that done too. Let's get my list together of what I've got to deal with. Yeah, I forget I did. I forget to do that more often than I care to count, Because I really don't need that one open. But you've got a project, you've got a place that you're sitting in life. Okay, I know Nathan is working on his. Okay, I know that for a certainty. I am very curious to hear what the rest of you are up to, because I would love to see your project starting to make headway. Okay, the idea here is real simple. I can give you all the tools that I know of, okay, but I cannot, more to the point, I will not do the work for you. Okay, but the tools I offer are ones that have literally been used by thousands of people with varying levels of success, depending on their own personal efforts. Okay, now we've got all of this, and those I've got to get to. What do we got here? I look over here, and right now we are looking at that. Yes, and just a quick reminder, guys. On Friday, because today we're here looking at making your dreams happen. What's happening with the newsletter? Well, we redesigned the newsletter essentially, or more to the point, we streamlined it. I've already started writing the articles for the next one. Oh, Joe, not a problem. Adam took a picture of what looks like a Palladian collector, or not Palladian, a consortium collector ship. Okay, it showed up the other day around where he is. Beautiful pictures of it. Okay, I can't, you can see a little of it in the star field. He can see it clearly and clear as a bell. Dogface, how you doing? Glad you could join us. But no, he sent me a couple of pictures. And like I said, I cannot speak to the veracity of it. And honestly, they're a little on the small side for my eyes. So I can't really tell you what I'm looking at. I know what I'm supposed to be seeing because he showed me a brilliant picture of it the other day. But yeah, we're talking about a starship, a consortium collector ship. But the one he showed me the picture of is one of the multi-person collectors. The ones where you may run into somebody from Earth while you're in orbit and they get put back wherever you came from. And that happens way more frequently than you might think. Okay, where they get taken and then a couple of years later they run into somebody and it's like, holy mackerel, I recognize you. And then things take off. But it does require a little bit of an open mind. Now, I do not expect you to believe what I'm telling you. Trust your own instincts. The only thing I can tell you is that I'm not about to lie to you to make you feel better. Okay, for me, it's a question. a question of this is what I'm seeing. This is what I know. Now you get to make up your mind. Okay, now, what is this? Oh, this was supposed to go into book 12, which is right here. Did I do that backwards? I did. Put the files in backwards. I'll straighten that out later. But I'm doing a lot more of my new method of doing things. Derek, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Oh, si tu parles Domingo. Now, honestly, I don't know. I'm looking at this. I couldn't pull it up. That's the easy part. Let's see. Just because I'm curious what it means, we go this way, and I can. Whoop! Don't do that. Copy, and then we go new tab, and let us go. Google Doc. Right now, something to be understood. I was talking to a lady I know that speaks German, and according to her, with Google Translate, if you stick to one sentence, it's pretty solid, at least with German. That should not be German. That should be Spanish we're looking at. Okay, well, that's an interesting thing to post. Not quite certain if that was intended to come out that way, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Look, where are we? Right there. That will absolutely make it a lot easier to find them there, Adam. It's not that I question whether they're there, but my ability to separate them on a field of stars is not exactly world renowned. What do we got here? I'm just reading what's up here, and I probably shouldn't be. But when you're taking a look at the way your life is going, first rule of thumb, decide what you're content with. If you're content, it's time that you stay put. If you're not, now is the time to change it. This is why what I'm looking at is this. I've got the newsletter up, I've got the live stream up, and I am looking into now, I'm looking into the whole idea of monetizing this stream. I don't know how that's going to work. This is all a work in progress. Okay, but take a look at where you are. What project or what aspect of your life are you not content with? Okay, if I take a look at this little box here, now I call this my one box, word of mouth. This tells me what my circulation is like. Okay, when I go into here, I've got, there we are, AM, which is 26 and 13, 39. That will grow. And let's take a look at this. I'm just looking at the pictures that Adam just sent me. Oh, yeah, that was where I thought it was there. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, that pretty much confirms what I was telling you there, Adam. Is you're looking at a consortium collector ship. Okay, but it's one of these ships that turns around and collects multiple people from multiple places around the world. And this is where, if you will, extraterrestrial or non-terrestrial interaction comes in. This is where we start making the world a whole lot smaller. Now, this is one of the goals that I've got by doing the newsletter, by doing the stream, is to bring what we're seeing in the chat room here, to bring that into a viable rendition on Earth, around the world. This is just something that we've got to do. Well, technically, we don't have to. Okay. Technically, we can absolutely leave it the way it is. Because if we choose to do that, if we choose to leave it the way it is, then all of a sudden, your life stays the way it was. Now, what is it? Advertising. 411, I want URL in there. Bingo. I gotta get into these files and really get them sorted out. I'm just not good at the standing still, at the sitting still thing. But right now, I've got, where is it? Oh, it's in the file over there. Okay, I have put up, let us take a look at that. We'll do it the easy way. October, December. Okay, so I don't have it up. Let us see that. We go for October. Now we grab that, move it up here. And yes, I've got a monitor here to watch what you guys can see. But of course, I do have to have it filed. Whoop, wrong one. There. Yeah, Joe, that's exactly what we're saying is Adam saw this in the sky. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dogface. And it's like I told my other half. These people are stuck with. The length of my hair, that may vary, my shave. Needless to say, with my other half not living in town right now, I don't always shave as much as she would like. But she's made it clear that she's okay with this. But this she'd prefer to be gone, which works out well because this gets way too hot in the summer. Well, the good news there, football, is have I thought about it? And the answer is yes. Do I know what I'm doing with it yet? No. This said, actually, I did write, and I should post that. Where is? I'm going to pop something into the Facebook right now. Whoop. This is actually an article that is coming out in the newsletter. I don't know if I can pack the whole thing in there. Yeah, why don't we give it a shot and see what happens? We'll pop it in here. This is actually the article that I've just written to pop into, to pop. Whoop, I think that's too big. Yep, it is. So that ain't gonna work. I'll have to do it in 2 sections, so that's okay. We go this way. I'm going to have to do this in 2 sections to pop it in that way, but this This is the article that I've written that will, oh, for crying in a butt, I'm not going to fight with it. No, not going to fight with it. Ain't going to let me. So I'm just not doing it. Because I have to break it down too much. So what I'm going to do is take the whole article, and if you're interested in it, this is actually in the October newsletter that's just about to come out. But let's go to Facebook, go to home. Did that, and then we grabbed this one. So I just posted it on my Facebook page. Don't know where all to put it at this point. What do we got here? Okay, let us get back to the right screen. Oh heavens. Honestly, football, Halloween used to be a very big deal in Canada. It has tapered off as people have become apparent, according to the way I look at it, as people have become more apathetic. The excitement that used to be there, the emphasis on decorating, on Halloween parties, on frightening, well-made costumes has really declined. When I was 20, I used to go to costume parties all the time. Of course, I think in my case, that was because it gave me a reason to get drunk. But even trick-or-treating doesn't take place much anymore. Some genius somewhere along the line decided that putting razor blades in apples was a really good idea before getting the kids to bob for them. But, so who do we got going on here? So, was it a big thing before? The answer is yes. Football, in answer to your question, have I ever been an animal before? Yeah, on a number of occasions. I also quite literally spent a lifetime, a pretty short lifetime really, as a mushroom. And yes, I was kept in the dark then as well. And guess what I got fed? See, here's the thing, Derek. I'm a firm believer that it is time to really take a look at Halloween itself. Both Halloween, Christmas, these holidays that have become merchandise and merchandising masterpieces. It's time we take the energy that is being put into the merchandising side and bring the celebration of life back to the forefront. Okay, for me, it was the early 80s when Halloween really took an interesting turn. But with that in mind, with that in mind, oh, world, you are in the house. So let us take a look at this. We slide down here, and where is world? Bingo. Now, guys, this is the link to World's live stream. Absolutely drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, give him a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and then share the daylights out of the thing. Okay. In World's case, he comes on air on Sundays at 8 p.m. Central, or better known, and also known as 6 p.m. Pacific. Okay, and you get to figure out all the ins and outs. Yeah, Derek goes, I remember Halloween 91. I was a vampire. Mom and sister did all the makeup for me. It was a great memory. Yeah, back in the early 80s, I dressed up as a road warrior. Okay, buddy of mine actually dressed up as a vampire. If you guys ever saw the show Near Dark, best vampire movie I ever saw that never once said they were vampires. You know, yes, Derek, as in Mad Max. This, and I've shown you this thing before, guys. This was worn over my shoulder, right? It's got a shoulder holster, but I used to leave it sit right there. I'll tell you, did that ever catch the cops' attention in the dark? Because you got to understand, not only was I dressed as a road warrior, but I had the whole yellow Iroquois. But this little thing was never an actual gun. Okay, this thing is a complete mock-up. This is all wood and metal, built by a chap that happened to know how to weld and carve to a degree. Drop down my foot, I'm going to have pain. But I am debating that side of it, absolutely. I did watch way back, I think it came out in the 50s, but way back I watched Nosferatu. That was a bit of a creepy movie at the time. Yeah, The Lost Boys was also a well done one. But I remember when the idea of a Halloween costume was supposed to be make it as scary as you can, not, gee, let's have a ballerina and call that a costume party, call that Halloween. Now, of course, clowns took on a whole different avenue at that point. Now the reality of it is this: when you're looking at Halloween, do what you will with it. Okay, I didn't actually see that one there, World. I don't know if I ever even saw that one coming through. But then I don't watch a whole lot of, I don't keep an eye open on a lot of the movies. But the reason I said that, we're talking about, about making dreams a reality. In other words, taking your thought here or your feeling here, combine the two, because once the two connect, that's when you look at it this way. When your mind can conceive it, when your imagination can put it to a picture, your heart can believe it, so you can actually feel that happening, then you can achieve it. So when I talk about putting an empire together, this isn't for me. It's not just a pipe dream. Okay, this is just one step at a time. Oh, Derek's going, James Wood is a hero by Hollywood standards. He's fighting the system. Football, that is just pathetic. The reality is that Halloween used to be, let's get really excited, let's go out and have a good time. The candy was a bonus. When you got teenagers going, oh, you don't have chocolate, that's when you look at them and go, well, you completely missed the purpose of Halloween, didn't you? I do feel for you. I don't have a lot of food handy, or a lot of candy handy myself at Halloween. But then, in all fairness, I buy one one box, because once in a while, I'll get the little kids in my apartment block show up. Yeah, I mean, we're looking at a world where it's a world of I'm entitled to everything. And I'm telling you, people are entitled to one thing. If you pay attention to your health, you're entitled to breathe. If you don't pay attention to your health, well, your breathing may be hindered. But I'm looking at it, I have not been one to go out in public very much. I go to one restaurant and that's where that ends. Now, I was out today, but I did what I had to. So the next 4 days, I probably won't leave the house. Shouldn't have to, in all fairness. Yeah, I like the idea of them giving you a king-size candy bar. Of course, I'm a gamer, so giving a candy bar, there's all sorts of things you can do with them. You can slice them, you can dice them, you can stretch them like taffy. Problem is, if you get caught doing it, the local constabulary is going to complain. Well, let's see. Football's going. I heard that rich people do not want to give candy to kids who do not live in their neighborhood. Yeah, and you really don't. People won't walk miles to find a possible candy bar. It used to be a case that you just go for miles just because. I'm looking at this world. World goes, it's against their morals to feed the peasants. The sad part is, where it comes to people's morals, I really look at them and go, do they actually have any anymore? Okay, the amount of greed, debauchery, depravity that is rampant in this world right now is what we have to really focus past. And this is why, when I decided to put the newsletter out, I decided to focus on the positive side of it, not on who ripped who off, who bamboozled who, just who is helping somebody. Okay, and I do have a couple of ideas I'm working on, but I'm still working on streamlining the actual layout for the magazine, for the newsletter before it becomes a magazine. Actually, I wonder what did I do with it. Should be right there. I'm actually looking to see. And clearly it's not visible, so I'll worry about that another day. Trying to make sure I've got everything moving in the right direction here. Where are we here? Yeah, there it goes. Super Duke gets little Bigfoot's knocking on his door for Halloween. Here's the thing. We can look at Halloween, and I'm a firm believer that absolutely we should focus on the celebration of it, on celebrating creativity, celebrating, the life that brings back, and absolutely take advantage of the marketing push that the big box stores put on it. Absolutely use the momentum to do something about it. Okay. Am I going to go out and get a whole pile of makeup at this time? No. Of course, in all honesty, from my standpoint, what do we got here? The way I look at it is this. It's time to find any reason at all that you can find to celebrate life. Yeah, it would be nice if people would leave the cemeteries alone. Unfortunately, unfortunately, what I've found is so many people disrespect other people's property that it's gotten right out of hand. Okay. And like I said, I did post on Facebook. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm just looking at what was written. There were a couple of things that came in regarding the post I just made. And this is why I said I am planning on becoming a little more active on social media. The good news from my end is I was talking to the company that built the website I'm working with. And much as I told them right off the bat, no, I'm not spending any more money. I just can't afford it right now. But she turned around and gave me some ideas on how to do so without spending the money. With this in mind, once the cash flow starts, I will certainly keep an eye on working with them. What is this? The neat part about it, from everything you're looking at, you desire your life to take a change. Let's get started making it happen. Okay, now you saw when I got started today, I had a bunch of files here. Okay, now these ones, most of them are just going to go straight into the filing bin or into the recycling bin. This can go in here, right about there. Don't know what that actually is. As you can see, I still don't sit still very well. But I think that's because of the fact that what I did find is if I sit still too long, what happens is my legs start to cramp up. And this doesn't work well. So, take a look at where you're standing. Okay, now I've got a number of things on the go. Now let's ask you this. Let's take a look at what's going through here. I have to get to this. Uh-oh. Yeah, football, I'm just going back a little. And football cat goes, what if Bigfoot stole kids' trick or treat bags of candy? World brings it up to speed and goes, one in the deep south took a dish full of candy. They found his tracks in a puddle of barf in the next day. Now, right there, whoever collected it has got all the DNA they required to prove what Bigfoot is. I'd lay odds they're not going to say anything. Honestly, football, I don't know. I really don't know. Football's just asking, is there a Black Friday for Canadian Thanksgiving? I honestly don't have a clue because I don't go near the places on these nuthouse days. Adam's just Adam is going. I like Valentine's Day for the cinnamon hearts, not the lovey stuff. It hurts my teeth after. Yeah, no doubt. But no, I am looking at this whole idea of the various different holidays that are coming out. Not writing something on all of them, but on the major ones anyway. Way too many holidays to cover every one of them at this point. Ah, okay. Well, this tells you how far behind the loop I am there, world. Although that DNA testing is one of those things I look at going, there's your quantifiable evidence. Regardless of what anybody says, once you've got quantifiable evidence, you got something solid. Presumably football, well, to start with, my favorite Halloween favorite holiday is, quite frankly, I do like Christmas. It's kind of a close second. I think I may like New Year's better, but understand, New Year's for me for the last 20 years, we've gamed from early afternoon till the new year comes in. So I mean, I do enjoy New Year's for that. I don't get drunk anymore. I get drunk a whole lot less. Other than that, I thoroughly enjoy Christmas, but I enjoy Christmas because I will turn around when I've got the extra money. I will turn around and hand out money and or gifts to people just that are there. It's like, here, Merry Christmas, have a happy, and I'll walk off. Okay. And I intend on doing that again this year. I've already started, if you will, loading up my bag to do so. Where are we here? Yeah, Derek goes, I have something that basically proves it's a joke, and it has to do with Halloween. Not sure where that is. Like I'm trying to keep up with some what's going on here. Yeah, well, that's the nice part. We did it one year, way back. There were fireworks going all over the place. So we decided we were going to be a little different. We were all dressed up for Halloween. And instead of setting off fireworks, we had to be a little different. So we set off pipe bombs. Controlled pipe bombs with no damage to anywhere. Okay, but I'll tell you, the bang was far more spectacular. What do we got going on here? Let's see. Yeah, I just got the one that you sent me to my phone there, Derek. And yeah, I take a look at that, and it's not a bad rendition. It is not the same race that somebody sent me, and maybe you were the person that sent it to me. I've already, in all fairness, Nathan, I've already done that. I'm going through my notes. I cannot speak to the veracity of the pictures that are being turned, or more to the point, I will not. Okay. But here's the thing. when I look at those the pictures that were sent to me just the other day, might have been Derek that sent them. I honestly don't know who actually sent them at this stage. Because I received a few of them. And, I will tell you, Nathan, the videos that are out of the ones that just came out of Peru, or the pictures that I was shown, are an actual race. I just have to go back through my notes, which is one of the reasons why I'm going through all this stuff, is to find out what I'm sitting on. Okay, I can tell you they were off-worlders, but they were off-worlders from way back when mankind was more afraid of itself than they were aggressive towards each other, which made it a whole lot safer. See, the nice thing there, Joe, for me with Christmas, I don't cook. My ex, on the other hand, is a fabulous cook where it comes to pretty much anything. But so I buy the turkey and the trimmings, and she cooks the thing, and we're good to go. The thing with gifts is what I've decided is I'm just not asking people what they like. I'm just going, this is what I feel is right, and go with that. Halloween, I'm still working on what I'm doing with it, but I have decided it's time to come out of the shadows. I've spent my life hiding from the world, and it hasn't worked well. Yeah, I haven't seen all the pictures by any stretch. Yeah, Nathan goes, I've tried to go quantum on them. Ego is getting in the way. Here's an idea, Nathan. If I can manage to show up at the show on Saturday, and I will do my best to do so. Okay. Oh heavens, she better have, because I didn't know how to cook properly. Yeah, her mom and dad taught her how to cook fabulously before I ever came into the picture. It was my dad that taught my mom how to cook, not vice versa. You gotta understand, where it comes to me cooking, I've got no sense of time, no functional sense of space, and no taste buds. The kitchen is not my friend. Okay, it really isn't. But Nathan, given that I can get to the show on Saturday, try and have those pictures ready, and we'll take a serious look at them and see what we can fill in. If you're interested, that is. What do we got here? I actually think I know which race it is. I just gotta go back through my notes. But I haven't seen those guys around in a very long time, so I'm very firmly believing that they were likely a passing group. And they got here, were here for a time, and then passed. Yeah, Tracy B, how you doing? My day's been actually not bad. Yeah, I've got an awful lot accomplished this morning, and a lot more laid out. But where are we? So I'm looking at this and going, how are you going to change your life? In my case, I'm coming out of the shadows. I'm starting to post, and this is why I took that message I've written that's in the newsletter, and it's now up on Facebook. I will get it out onto the others as we go along. Where are we? Not that one. What? There we go. Take this, grab that, and drag it over here out of the way. And then we go LinkedIn. Get that to pop open, and what do we got? Yeah, that's just it. Like, usually in my ex is good at this. She usually takes half the skin, I get the other half. Works out well from my eyes. Now, let me see here. Now, that post I popped up on Facebook is now. Whoop, that is not what I wanted. I forgot. There. That was still highlighted. There we go. Now, let's go back to LinkedIn. Where did LinkedIn go? I love when I confuse myself like this. Don't want that, don't want that. Oh, that's LinkedIn. Let's close that off. Then we go like this, and we go tickety, paste, and that Halloween post is now posted on LinkedIn as well. Figured it was an idea. I'm not going to bother trying to put it on Twitter because Twitter isn't big enough. What do we got here? Nathan's going, Nathan's just adding, the work here has a program, Project Eve, electric aircraft project going on using drone tech for people. It'll be a hard day for them when I'm done. Yeah, do not let anybody stop you from going after your dreams. I've run into obstacle after obstacle of getting things to move. Okay. And like I said, I'm not stopping. I told the people that had turned me down, I says, I find it fascinating that you turned me down, but it's going to happen anyway. And now I've just got to make sure. And what I'm doing at this point, let us get that out of the way, go back to there. There's so much happening in this world that in order to change it, here's the thing you've got to look at. Are you content? What we got? There goes. I need to go check what's in the oven. Yeah, I got to go check what's in the oven really fast. In my case, the one thing that I did manage to get working right is for Christmas, I'll get working on oatmeal raisin cookies. Problem with them is I literally have to be right there. Because from the time they go into the oven, they've got to come out at 4.5 minutes or they burn. They come out at 4 minutes, they're undercooked. Come out at 4.5, they're fine. Come out at 5, they're burnt. But no, I decided that I was going to come out of the shadows, start making the effort to turn the lights on and go, okay, guys, we're going to turn this world around. We're going to do it by getting up and moving. Okay, just a very necessary issue. Now, this is a project which is under linguistics, but P. I don't know what that project is, so we'll just ignore it for the moment. As you can see, I am slowly getting things out of the way. Now, why, pray tell, I have this? I have no idea what this is. But since it's listed as a project, we'll put it in there. And it is mailing. So, And there you have it, folks. What was on the bed is no more. Oh, yeah. Like, I didn't have enough on the go, so I picked up a couple of new characters. Haven't even finished the ones I got. I really got to do something about that. Well, it worked out really well around my house. I can burn just about anything. Mind you, I think the best one I ever saw, my eldest brother, right? He was sitting in the living room when he was, or in the kitchen. He was apparently about 15 years old. Sat down in the kitchen with his back to the stove. He was boiling eggs. And while he was sitting with his back to the stove, he was so engrossed in his book that he burnt the eggs. Those were hard boiled, by the way. So, question for you guys. I know some of you are working on projects, okay, on things you've been putting off. Okay, I've got on the go right now quite a number of projects, but this is because I decided I'd had enough of sitting around and waiting for things to happen. Okay, because I will tell you, if you continue waiting for the world to change, you could be waiting a very long time. And it doesn't, the only thing procrastination has ever done is delayed things. Usually the things you really desire to have happen. But as you can see, things do change when you start working on it. Now, here's the thing. Okay, I don't know where the envelope went, but I know that right now I've got the newsletter set to go out with 8 pages. But I've got to get the right size articles to start doing it properly. Okay, what I haven't figured out is how to make it a little more interactive. So I'm working on that aspect. Okay, again, it boils down to getting something people can look forward to opening up and reading. Whether it's an email, whether it is a hard copy, either way, I'm shipping it around the world. One of the biggest things I'm looking at right now is people have become very apathetic. What do we got? Emmy is going, hi everyone. I've been out painting the nails out painting the rails. I thought I said the nails on my porch. Got a question for you. Are you painting them a color or are you staining them? Just a curiosity for you there, Emmy. But welcome aboard. I am glad you could join us today. Hopefully you can put your feet up for a little bit and relax. Good luck with that thought. I know in my case, I don't relax a whole lot. But I am working on figuring out how. And what is it? Yeah, I don't exactly require that. Put that over there. Go way up here. Get this file out of the way, or more to the point, open it. Put that there. And again, this is a question of realizing if I don't actually, quite frankly, lead by example and go, okay, I know this has to be done to make things work. So am I going to sit here and not do it? The answer is no. Yeah, I know. I keep walking out of the area because, well, frankly, I have to. Now, what am I looking at here? Put that back there just because I can. Today we are looking at that. Tomorrow we won't be here, but I will be on Friday. I'm going to be looking at the dwarven race, the ancient race of dwarves, and they're married to different subcultures, if you will. Oh, there we go. And he's just letting us know she's painting him white to match the metal rail on my trailer. That ought to look really good. I get a kick out of it because people keep going. People keep telling me, oh, there's eggshell white and there's off-white and there's Arctic white. And I'm like, it's white. But then I don't see the half colors. A lot of the time I really don't. Okay. On the other hand, I am working on the various different aspects of trying to figure out how to really, and maybe you guys have an idea. Like I said, I was looking at what I was doing with the newsletter, with Positive Perspectives. Let me ask you this, guys. In your eyes, especially those of you that are already receiving it, what do you feel would be a beneficial addition or change to the way the newsletter is looking now? Okay. The reason I'm asking is because the so-called marketing professionals are about as useful as a screen door in a submarine. So I figure, what the heck? I do appreciate that, Joe. The reality of it is there is so much that we can cover here. There is so much good we can do. Okay. And I'm watching what people call cross chatter in the chat room. I'm looking at this going, this is fabulous. These are people from all over the world talking to each other in an amicable fashion. This is what this world requires at this point. Not who shot who robbed who ripped who off, or who's gonna backstab who. We don't require all of this. Okay. I just wrote I wonder how big that little additive was. If I look at book 12, there we are. Let's move it out of the way so I can keep an eye on what's going on. I do believe I said keep it out of the way. So open that up. I'll be expanding this side, but I got it all added in. Another 2 pages got added today. Okay, I've got to expand it so it'll go a little further. But it really boiled down to taking a series of events and bringing them back to the front via a nightmare. Okay, and again, whoa. Yeah, football's just going. Jessica Simpson wrote a book and did not include pictures. And not all books require pictures, especially when you start looking at science fiction, science fantasy books. They don't always require pictures if you're writing it properly. Okay, and this is why I'm starting to push the issue of getting a number of things wrapped up. Okay. So, I mean, from my standpoint, I would love to take a look at some of the charts you're working, or some of the projects you're working on. And, I would love to do this. Come to think of it, and I'm just going to drop this in your lap, Nathan. Okay. You're developing an interesting project. I'm just thinking it would be an interesting addition to take a look at that project, and just in a small point form sort of issue, do a little write-up on it. It won't be in the October newsletter, obviously, because it's ready to go. But either the November, actually, in all fairness, your call. But I'd love to do a little article with you on what you're actually building. And we'll see if we can get it done as just an extra addition to the newsletter to make it that much more interesting for people. Okay, kind of a different sideline because, right now we've got magazines and newsletters that are going, here's all kinds of advertisements, here's all kinds of junk you can buy, here's all kinds of depressing information. What you're working on, Nathan, is creativity at its best. Okay, and no, I do not. To. I'm not referring to actually giving away your formulae and that sort of thing, so much as the overview of this is what I'm intending on it doing. Whether I end up with pictures, I'm still working on how pictures and what have you work. Yeah, absolutely, Nathan. This is what's called, and this is what is just usually referred to as straight brainstorming. Okay, but again, this boils down to I've got an image in my head of what I desire to see happen. And the only way I'm going to make that happen is to get out of my own way and make it happen. Okay, so these little odds and ends I'm working on are just small aspects of it. You know, one of the things I get that I really like watching, and I see it through the chat room here, and like I mentioned, this is a very simple microcosm of the world in which we live, of what we can have, as long as we keep working towards it. You know, when I was talking yesterday about the campaign that I've started writing, I'm literally looking at now, and I was working on a little. I was thinking about it and working on things on it a little more today. Was here I've got characters that are doing real silly things, but this is in a game where the gods do interact. Terry, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Whoa. Oh, and there we go. Terry is from Tales. This is Tales on the Sonic Voyage. How you doing there, Terry? Glad you could join us. I'm gonna make I'm pretty blunt about it, but from the way I look at it is this: everybody in here are really good people, and it's not just a question of my looking at and going, "Oh, look, you're in my chat room, therefore you're decent people." I'm looking at it going, I mean, you're in this chat room, you're getting along with each other. This is what makes you decent people. So I'm looking at things and, I'm looking at this whole world going, how do we make this a more viable, more vibrant world? What can I do? Because I keep hiding in the shadows. I can't do a whole lot. Okay. And there was I was told one day, the best tools in the world are absolutely useless if nobody knows where they are. Okay, so what do we got here? 363. Now, I've got what am I working on? That'll get expanded, so that'll come out a little. I shrink that down. 4. Yeah. Now that's wonderful. Chapter 23 right now is 4, 8, 12. So chapter 23 is absolutely done, except for the little bit of expansion I gotta do. Chapter 24, 6, 10, 14. So I'm just gonna be sailing through. Oh, that's where I gotta start. Because I've got where is that? 313, page 313. I've got to start looking at a major conflict that's going on, but I will start working on that right away. The rest of this is just editing, but I've got about 20 pages right in that 2 chapters. 8, 12. Yeah, so I've got a fair chunk of work still to do, but it's coming along nicely. On the flip side of that, Races of the Worlds we are still moving ahead with. That's coming along nicely. Now, who did we get that just wandered in here? Oh, that's why. Okay, So, let me ask you this, guys. Okay, I'm looking at this world going, what can we do? Like, are we doing enough? Or is there something more that we can be doing, either through the newsletter, through the books, through the live feed? Is there something more that we as a community can do a little bit more effectively to actually start positively impacting on society? Like, this is a great little group here, don't get me wrong. But we've got a lot of work ahead of us. And this is just the reality behind it. And I haven't quite figured out how to go with that side of it. But the newsletter, where is, I'm going to grab that just on principle. Not project. I am looking for. Bingo. Like I said, the magazine, the newsletter right now it's pretty small, but we are starting to enhance, and now it's time to start looking at other articles and what have you. But the fact is, it is staying free. No matter how I do it, I'm not going to be charging for it, because from my way of looking at it, why bother? Okay, this is just one of those things I can give somebody, hopefully, something to wake up to and go, hey, let's read what's going on there, and not feel depressed, and not feel like all of a sudden the world's going to come to an end and we got nothing left to live for. Okay, I am not an artiste by any means, at least not from a drawing standpoint. But I do hope to become an inspiration for other people to get their tails off the couch, to start changing your own life for the better. Okay, where it comes, like, I'm working out right now, not only the layout of the newsletter, but ongoing articles from an evolutionary standpoint, so that we can start dealing with things and learning. Now, of course, in October's edition, okay, if I look into October's edition, I've started dealing with numerology in a different form. Okay, where is what I was working on? I'm looking at it right here and cannot for the life of me see what I was writing. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I am already starting to put regular articles in. The magazine does have room to grow. The newsletter will grow bigger. This said, I'm absolutely now open to taking writings by other people. But before anybody does anything, understand at this point, it is going to be, at this point, categorically, it's going to be free, because at this point, I've run right out of excess cash flow. Football. The answer to that is yes. And that's one of the things I'm going back to. I found football's asking, were you previously passionate about astrology? I absolutely was. As a matter of fact, I think in the July issue, I started something. So thank you so much for reminding me of that. Let me just call up November here. Where are we? Take this, we'll pop that over there. And see if we can get that. Positive perspectives from November. There we are. So open that up. And if we go to the paranormal section, where is it? Oh, right at the beginning, turn up. the paranormal section right there. Okay. Why don't we tangle with that? We'll just pop that in there. See, I found out something with astrology. To a degree, the answer is yes. Okay, I do, like, I know the basics to it. I never put a lot of time into it, into understanding it. I know some of the fine-tuning points. It wasn't, palm reading was not one of the talents I really took a lot of notice in. I do know it to a degree, but certainly not what I would call a professional palmist by any means. Where it came to astrology, one thing that dawned on me very clearly, okay, and yes, I will be looking into it because it takes a long time to draw it together. I used to do up natal charts and what have you, and that's what triggered the following understanding. The way they had that Western astrology is built has some critical flaws. And, I was originally looking at it going, I've got to point out the flaws, and figured there are way too many of them that solid astrologers will argue over and go, no, you're reading it wrong. But to me, astrology has to be internally consistent. Okay, and here's one of the kickers with it. When you're looking, you've got 12 signs. Okay, now with 12 signs, you've got 12 rulers. But my understanding was real simple. Every ruler, first of all, you can only have one ruler ruling one sign. And many of the signs had two. So I started researching. Or they have one ruler ruling two signs. So I started doing a little bit of research. Okay, and figured out something neat. There are 3 planets that NASA knows about in our solar system. And in all fairness, one of them is an asteroid. Well, thank you there, Emmy. Emmy's just going, that's why I was painting. I kept hearing your voice in my head talking about procrastination. Procrastination is a great way to put things off, but it doesn't accomplish a whole lot. So I looked into the rulers of astrology, found out we had a kink in that. I also found out that NASA itself knows about them, and yes, I've got concrete proof that NASA knows about them because I pulled I followed it just jumping around probably 15 years ago now, just poking around and hitting almost random links. I found the ephemerae for 3 missing planets in our solar system. Okay, that you're not told about. What do we got here? Derek's trying to make us all hungry. He goes, for dinner tonight, the lovely Desiree cooked up chicken nuggets in the oven with loaded potato wedgies and broccoli and cauliflower. Yeah, see, now that's just not nice. Didn't you? I mean, it is. It sounds great. But didn't your mother ever tell you don't make that unless you're making enough for everybody? And somehow I think we might have a problem. Now, Adam, you're slacking it today. You've only got 106 feet. Now, that's 106 feet of the actual van and the deck. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but your cab itself is about another 18 feet, is it not? Or is it closer to 25? Just because I'm nosy. Yeah, okay, I appreciate that. So we're looking at 106, another 18. You're looking at 125, 130 feet of vehicle. Okay, now my vehicle's huge. I'm driving an RVR, so it's got about maybe 20 feet. But I remember years ago I saw an accident between 2 semis that were only dragging 40-foot boxes. But they ran into each other so hard they welded themselves to each other. But yeah, I'm looking at this. There's a lot of tools in the paranormal world that I am going to be tangling with. And I am starting to post, as you can tell, the different articles onto social media. Yes, I will be doing the shorter videos as well. And now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, I keep putting it off. It ain't doing me any good. So I mean, I've got to look at this and go, I've got plans. You've got plans. But I figure if I can get myself motivated enough to make these things happen in my world, maybe, just maybe, it will inspire you to put your own plans to work and start making them a reality. So yes, I got a whole pile of things that have to be gotten out of the way. Put that there. I don't even know what half this stuff is that I'm working on. Oh, haven't got that one. What is that? All kinds of neat stuff. Oh, yeah. This funny little thing here. We talk about concrete proof. Okay. Now I'm going to show you something and you're not going to be able to see much. I will see how much you can see of it. But I don't think this is going to work that well. This was an artist rendition. Okay, well, I don't know if you can see that very well. I can't see what I'm looking at. Okay, that is an artist sketch of the actual location of a problem that I was working on years ago. Now take a look at that. And then this is the one that I sketched out before. See if I can find it. Better be still in here. Oh, no, that really annoys me. Oh, wait a minute. There it is. For a minute I thought I'd lost it. Now, this is certainly not going to help you, but this is a sketch that I drew up of the same site. Okay. This is what led me. That connection is what led me to end up going looking for a missing body. And the thing is, with that was done. This was done just by literally being told the first name of the guy that was missing. I wasn't even told what was up with him, but I was handed that. And before I was handed the picture, all I had was the guy's name, the last time anybody recalled seeing him, and his birthday. That's all I had to go on. That led to an interesting interaction with the police. However, it was the interaction with the police that was really, from my standpoint, very positive. And now I can't get it back into its envelope. Isn't that always the case? The thing is, the paranormal is a really interesting world. It's an absolutely fascinating world in which we live. But there is little difference between there is little difference between the between the real world and the paranormal one. You know, it just depends on how much you work with it. Would be nice if this would cooperate, but it's not going to. I'm about to get fed up with it and say I'm just not putting it back in here for now. Because honestly, my hands aren't working right, neither is it. Okay. Just about to pack it in. But that is, I've talked to you guys about it before, where I said I ended up working with the police on a cold case file. This is that physical side. And was because of that, the only functional difference between the photocopied one and the one that I drew on in with ink was they were backwards. You know, and that's because they were looking at it from the top. I was looking at it from the side of the body. But these are just some of the odd things that go on in my world. Like I said, what you guys call science fiction, I call normal. You know, so from my end, now is the time to really look at what you're aiming for. For me, it's simple. But let me ask you this. Are you content with the way your world is working? Now, I know for a certainty, because Joe has shared a lot, he's been making absolutely, great moves with regards to tracking his own experiences. I'll tell you, Joe, down the road, that is going to be invaluable in proving to yourself that you're making headway. That you're getting things turned. This is the important factor. It's like Emmy was just saying. She's getting projects done. And this is the key to changing this world. Is find something you're not content with and get it moved out of the, get it completed. Now, what pray tell is this? I think I'm going to leave those files alone for a while, at least for tonight. Take this out and then run into an interesting snag. Pop that back in out of the way. Let me ask you this. Okay, when you take a look at the world around you, and of course, I was just actually, and give me 10 seconds. One of these days I should bring these down. For you dog face, these are going to be new. Okay, dog face. Like this, you've seen the figure before, but I have started painting them. Okay, and it was kind of a neat discovery the other day. This little chap here, and this is getting added to the information that is coming out in Race of the World second printing. Okay, you've seen this guy before. Okay, but now I've got him painted. But here's the kicker to it. Is this little guy here. Okay, now this one is the best rendition I've ever come across for a Sarkon. Now, I've still got to get his jaw painted in the floor. But he's an excellent rendition of a Sarkon. But this little guy, turns out, Sarkon, the young, are born with wings, which enables them to get up and fly out of reach of predators. But as they get older, the wings eventually, they simply atrophy and literally fall off. Okay. It's kind of a weird setup, but they literally break off and then heal over. Okay. But that's when that's once they get big enough to defend themselves or to run at a decent level. Now I haven't, let me see here. I can tell you this. Yes, this guy is gold, but this mane, when I get done, will be cobalt blue. Okay, it'll be a deep color of blue. And again, I think I have, if we take a standard person, this guy's 6 feet tall. Look at the size of the Sarkon. Okay, now the weird part about it is people keep going, well, why don't the off-worlders just show themselves? Well, can you picture that? Joe, I have, yes, very much like a buck's antlers there, dog face. Very much like. Joe, you may have everyday issues, but I'll tell you, you're not ordinary. Okay, and the reason I say that is because you look at life with a sense of adventure, with a sense of excitement that sadly many of the people coming up behind us don't have. They just haven't developed it. Now, I did pick up this one I just picked up today. Hey, hot dang, would you look at that? Got to figure out who he fits with. But I'm looking at these characters and going, I've got to get them painted, which is why I'm making headway with them. But this particular one, okay, I'll dig it out here. I just picked this one up today. But I picked these two up today. Remember I mentioned I was looking for characters specifically to represent people in the Yldrbacian Chronicles. Okay. Now, there's a picture of the two figures when they're painted. Okay. But that's not the painting color I'm going to be working with. So I take that. Let's see here. Now, this particular character, I literally picked up because this one is going to be painted. This one literally represents a character in the storyline by the name of Khalees. She is a master swordswoman. Okay, and when I mean master, for those of you that understand swordsmanship, this woman will quite literally defend herself while drinking beer and not spill the beer. Okay, but this is a lass from somewhere. I'm not sure what book she shows up in. I know she's from the earlier books. Okay, but she does show up in book 12. Okay, and I'm thinking between her and I've got a character that's literally built into the story. Well, yeah, the answer to your question there, Dogface, the answer to your question is, yeah, she is. Okay, funny part about it is this is one of these women you don't want to try and accost. It's just not going to work out well. Okay. But no, she's very much a loner. Don't know what I'm doing with this one. This was an extra figure that showed up just because of the fact that it was in the package. I wanted the other one. That's always fascinating there, dog face. If you can't find a person in real life, heck, build your own. But no, I'm starting to put the characters together so I can actually start working on landscapes as well. It ought to be entertaining as I start to get Casey's put together. Casey's Bar and Grill. I don't know how I'm going to do it because I haven't done landscapes since, well, frankly, I haven't done landscapes since I was in grade 7, maybe 6. So we're looking at, well, grade 6. You're looking at, I'm looking at 50 years ago I did them. Okay. But the way I figure it, it's a simple issue of bringing things to life, bringing them more, involving more senses. And this is why I'm doing the work I'm doing, to really work as an inspiration. I figure I hid in the shadows. Now it's time to step out and go, this is what can be done when you put your mind to it. You are going to have to do the work. You're going to have to take a look at things and go, okay, what am I not doing that I could be doing to make my life easier? Not for anybody else, just for you. And I'm going to caution you, I've made the mistake of overextending myself by trying to help too many other people without taking care of myself first. No, this is not a question of being selfish, guys. This is a question of making certain you don't become a burden. So I'm looking at November here. And yes, I've got that article there. Oh, yes. We definitely want to take a look at that. Semper Fi there, Black Dragon. How you doing? I'm looking at this guy. I was just thinking. This is another one of these critters that we take a look at him, and you do not want to fight this warrior. Take a look at that weapon on his tail. Now, his tail was already formidable, but this guy put on an armored mace on the end of it. Okay, these are the guys that we're talking about. Well, why don't they just show themselves on Earth? Well, I can think of a few things. Dogface is going, last time I made a landscape, Dad used plaster of Paris, made volcano hills and the bells and whistles, all the bells and whistles. Yeah, I remember working with that. The last landscape I built, I was literally building a landscape to lay out what happens in a forest fire. So I built the whole landscape. I built it up. Now I only used cardboard and real material, right? Because I wanted to show just how well it worked. So I built this little sloping landscape, right, with a little house made on it. Now the house was made out of popsicle sticks and toothpicks, and they had actual pine trees, just the little clippings used as the pine forest. Then you lit one match at the end of it and watched it go. But the idea was to show how it worked. Went off like a charm. Got an A on my science project. But I did tell the teacher I had to take it outside to show them. There was no way I could show them inside. No, yeah, Black Dragon's not guarding the bacon. Well, I guess technically he's guarding it. By the way, Black Dragon, you'll be happy to know when I was out today, I picked up a couple more rashers of bacon, so I got a meal tomorrow. Just so I got something for breakfast. Well, I got things for breakfast anyway, but I do agree with you. Bacon is one of these things, they say, it's high in cholesterol, it's bad for you, don't eat it. I'm like, it was worse for the pig. So I'm okay. You think about it. I'm starting to, quite frankly, I've overextended my budget. So I kind of have to. Like, I'm not planning on leaving the house. I've been grocery shopping. I've got my cereal at home. I've got my milk. I've got eggs and vegetables and what have you. So yes, I've got the stuff at home now to start doing a little cooking. I'm not expecting to become a phenomenal cook. I figure if it's not moving, it was cooked well. But then I don't have taste buds to work with. Now, I am one of the projects I'm working on right now is the interactive storyline. And I like the one when we were talking about it the other day, and I forget who man came up with the idea. Not a prayer, Black. Okay, there's two things going against it. There are two things absolutely going against that. One, I'm very happily attached to my other half. That precludes everything. Two is more of a variable. Okay, because honestly, Black, I don't know with a name like Black Dragon, like Black Dragon, I don't know if you're male or female. Guaranteed, even if I were single, if you're male, there is no way I'd be flirting with any of you. Okay, just doesn't work that way for me. I got nothing against people that are that way inclined. I am not one of them. Well, yes, there is definitely bacon. And, I am a carnivore at heart. Told my doctor that one day because she looked at me and she did my blood work and she goes, your good cholesterol is just barely under dead middle. Your bad cholesterol is a fraction above dead middle. What is your diet like? I says, I don't know, 50% meat roughly. And she goes, pardon? I said, well, those roast chickens. And the ones you buy at the grocery store. She goes, yeah. I said, okay, that's a snack. And she goes, oh, so you eat a leg and maybe a wing. I said, no, you misunderstand. If I've got company, they may get a leg and possibly a wing. I get the rest. She takes her blood work and she goes, well, at least somebody knows what your body's doing. Raymond, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Are we really that far? We really are that far along. I am amazed. I keep getting lost in things, and this is a good thing. Okay, but now tomorrow is gaming night, so no, I'm not going to be here. Okay, but just a quick reminder: on the 22nd, on Friday, okay, we will be talking about the dwarven community, about what drives them, where they came from, how they came about, the whole 9 yards. Now, this is where it gets a little twisted. Okay, some of you are going to go, okay, you're making this up. The question you have to ask is, am I making it up or am I simply taking what I know and writing it into the storyline? That's where you get to make your decisions. I can't make them for you. Okay, but with that in mind, I will have figures with me if I've got any of the ones for characters I'm working with. Okay, but thank you so much for sharing your time with me, guys. I really do appreciate it. And I will be back again on Friday. Okay, at this point, I'm simply going to be bringing this to a close. But until we meet again, okay, and for pity's sakes, you've got projects. Let's get started on making them happen. Okay, on changing this world for the better. But until we meet again, Do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.